Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel or whatever. I don't know what this is. If you didn't catch me in one of my last videos, I'm pre-filming or whatever. I just finished doing like a video on Anne Frank, Diary of a Young Girl. Amazing, hyped her up, kind of went into reasons like what we really should be talking about when we talk about Anne Frank. But yeah, I hope you check that out. Really good book. Honestly amazing. And today I don't even know how to start this off. This is like such a weird thing. So I've been hearing about an author named Colleen Hoover, and I was like, like, should I really look into this girl? I saw this video by As Told by Kenya, one of my faves, one of my absolute faves here on YouTube. Go subscribe. We'll go look at her content and then subscribe so you don't mess up her analytics or whatever. She did this video talking about like, no, not talking, like she read like some Colleen Hoover books. I think she read 4 and gave her honest opinion and said they were all horrible. And I was like, like this is, Colleen Hoover is like the #1 author on like Goodreads, and like she's super popular, especially with like young girls, young and upcoming women, and she writes like romance novels, and I'm like, I'm not into romance novels, but like I can give it a shot. Like #1 has to mean something about something. Of course, like not all #1s are like, you know, everything everyone wishes and dreams for. I think a good example is like Stephen King. Like a lot of people like don't like Stephen King and his content in the books that he puts out, which is like fine. I mean, I don't hate Stephen King. I only read one of his books called The Outsider, and I absolutely hated the ending, but I get why people would like it based on his writing style and like the thriller-esque. And I wanted to see what I liked in Colleen Hoover. So I picked up a book. I actually tried reading a book before this one. The one I have right now is called Without Merit. This is not going to be a mirrored video, I don't think so. You probably can't read that. Colleen Hoover right there. I tried reading a book before this one called Slammed, and it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was her debut novel, but it was ridiculous. Like, the main protagonist, like the woman, was like her thing to like get along with kids was to act like a zombie in the most ridiculous way. She's like brains. I'm like, this is not fun. And then the guy she was interested in was like bland as hell. I'm like, I don't know. His name was Will. But no, we're not even gonna go over that. So, Without Merit. I don't even know how to begin this story. This makes literally no sense. You want to know why I picked this up? Let's read the little thing. I'm actually not going to read this little thing, but basically it says this girl is obsessed with collecting trophies. Like her obsession, like her collection item is trophies. So she's picking up all these trophies, and she lives in a church, and I'm like, huh? Like her house is a church because her dad bought the church because she hated the person at the church. Like he hated the priest. And I'm like, they live in a church because like the dad hates the priest, and I'm like, oh my god. And then like, I don't know, there's like all this family things, but like the way she sets herself apart from like her family is that she collects trophies. So we first start to get into the story, and this girl is like already an emotional wreck. Like I don't even know, like her sister and her brother are both like super good at what they do. They're all in the same grade, and she's twins with her sister, but her brother got held back because their parents said it would be easier. I don't know. And so we have that going, like her brother and her sister, and there's like competition because like they're both like really good at school and she's like not, I guess. I don't know, they don't really like show it, they just kind of like explain everything. Yeah, so she's like really bad at school, and she's like, how do I like set myself apart from everyone? And she starts collecting these trophies. And the way she describes it is kind of funny. Is she's like, I just kind of got bored, like, with this one guy, and like, I kind of just took his trophy as I left. Like, I deserved that trophy for being in a relationship like that. And I mean, you do you. She like took his like soccer trophy or whatever that he won. And then she's like, you know what? I started doing that for anything. She's like, lost my virginity, steal a trophy. Like, do heroin the first time, steal a trophy. Like, get an A on a test, steal a trophy. And it's like, okay, like, fair, but like, I don't know, kind of weird. I guess it's like a weird manipulation, well, to like think that you're doing well and like that you're being rewarded for things when it's like that's kind of just like what people do. I don't know, maybe not like heroin, but like it's just kind of like daily things that you do and you like want to reward yourself for it and like be like life moves on, which is fine. It's completely fine. But that makes absolutely no sense. So she gets in the trophy store. She wants to buy a trophy. I don't remember what for, and I don't really care because like I'm not gonna be finished this. I'm not gonna be finishing this novel. So she goes in to like buy a trophy and she sees this guy like luring over her. And she's like, he's kind of cute, but he's kind of far away, so I can't really tell if he's cute. Weird, but okay. And then he's like shouting things at her from like upstairs or whatever. They're in like a 2-story trophy thing. I'm like, huh? How many trophies can there be? And he's like, hey, how are you doing? How are you faring? And she's like, I'm good. And she's trying to act all shy like Debbie Ryan or whatever. And then, I don't know, she buys her trophy and she like meets him outside. And then it's like this kind of weird romantic like dream sequence where it's like he pulls her in close and then they're just breathing on each other. And then they kiss and she doesn't want it to stop. She wants to keep going and like force herself. So they're like making out or whatever in public, and like apparently people are like honking their horn in the streets. Don't believe that. I think she made that up. And then he gets a call and he answers the phone and he's like, literally what? What's happening? And it's actually her sister that called him, and twin sister, mind you. So like she's making out with her sister's boyfriend. And I mean, I don't know. I thought it was honestly a pretty good start to the novel and a pretty good shocker. But like that's kind of the thing that I noticed like as we kept going on with the novel. Like that's the only thing keeping me reading it, is that there's like weird shocking things that make no sense, but there's never really a plot. And I think that might be where Colleen Hoover gets her audience from, is like shock factor just for the shock of it. But also her writing style is like super cool or whatever. Super easy to follow. Like, I don't know, it's kind of like she's just talking to you. But anyway, she hears that and she's like, oh my god, I just made out with my boyfriend. Well, my sister's boyfriend, and I gotta go. Like, I cannot face my sister. I cannot do anything. So she goes back to her house that is a church. Literally so weird. And the way that they describe this church is they divide it into 4 sections. So there's a section for the master bedroom on top. There's a section for like the living room area, kind of like kitchen stuff. There's another section because there's like 6 kids or something. There's a lot of kids. And then there's one more section for the ex-wife of the husband. Like, she's still living there, and her, like, I should say, like, the main character's dad is the husband I was talking about. So we have the mom of, like, half the children down the stairs, and then we have the other mom upstairs with the dad, and it's kind of weird and disturbing. It's like, what are we even talking about now? Like, I'm, like, I don't know, I thought it was funny, but, like, really thinking about it, I'm like, this does not seem practical in any sense of the word. Like, it's literally just weird. Like, nothing is really making sense that's happening. Nothing's really, like, justifying the actions that have happened. And I don't know, I find it disturbing. And I guess, like, where the book really fell off is, like, just communication and, like, what happens. Like, things are taking forever to happen, and we're not getting anything. Like, Colleen's describing, like, one of her brothers that we're never going to hear about again in the book. And I don't know, I couldn't get past the exposition, but like this book doesn't even make literally any sense with what it's trying to pull forth. With what it's trying to pull forth, and I don't really understand where her audience is coming from. I don't know if it's mainly people who like the simple reading, because when I read her Slammed novel, it was also a very like simple, easy off the tongue read. But then reading this one, I also noticed there's kind of just like she throws in things that are messy just for the sake of it. And I mean, I like drama, but like, why is there like, especially when compared to like the other novel, this drama makes literally no sense. Like, there actually is like a very plausible one where, you know, the dad and the pastor are going at each other. They don't like each other at all. And the pastor's dog like always gets into like the yard of the dad. And that makes sense for conflict. Like that makes sense for like where things go, but like why are they living in a church? And why is the mom downstairs? Like what's the purpose of like her being there in the house with her other ex-lover and his lover? Like I don't know. It just doesn't seem plausible. I mean, you know, I think there's a lot of situations where like that would happen, but I just don't think this one makes very much sense. Even though he's like rich, like just everything around it, like these characters, like they don't feel real, and I don't really like that about her novels. And that felt the same way in the Slam series. The first book, I only got through maybe like a chapter and a half. It was just boring. Like nothing's happening. And I'm like, am I supposed to wait around forever for something to happen? And the thing is like, I guess things are happening, but they're happening like ridiculously slow or whatever. Like the actual plot, I guess, because it's like focused around the romance or whatever. Like that's what we're supposed to be waiting on, and then like everything happening around that is just kind of like drama for the sake of it, and I don't like that. I don't really like that. And I thought I liked it in this book because I thought it was so hilariously unrelatable and nonsensical and completely so far out of reality, like so far removed from reality, like makes no sense. And I thought I would like it for that reason, but I think it's the reason what's keeping me reading it, because it's like it's just so far out there, like there's no point to it. Like there's never like a theme being explored, there's never you know, metaphors delved into. And I mean, I guess someone could say like, you know, like does everything have to be so serious? And it's like no, but like when you're just throwing things in a book for the sake of it, like what's the purpose of that? Just to shock people or whatever? I don't know. I guess it was pretty shocking. Oh my god, I completely forgot about this part. Because I was like, wait, there was like more shocking things that happened. So the main protagonist's sister, we're talking about the twin sister, is like bordering on the line of necrophilia, and it is so weird because like I don't know, it's like a trauma response, I guess, but I think it was like her first boyfriend, like he died in a tragic way, like he had cancer or something, and then she would go into online chat rooms and find lovers who were terminally ill. Like, what is literally happening with the story? Like, who are these characters? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's so random to just throw things in like that. And it's like, you can have like a chaotic, random story, but it's like, we just kind of like hear about it and then we move on. And I think that's what makes me mad is it's like, you're just doing this for shock factor. Like this isn't going to stick around for the rest of the story. Like there was no point to actually throw this in here when it doesn't relate to the other 80% of the story. Like, I don't know. And that could just be me, but I don't know. Those were the moments I was trying to stick around for. I was trying to push through, but like, I don't know. It is much more interesting than Slammed. I guess if you are to read like a Colleen Hoover novel, like from what I like saw and heard of like the synopsis and from like As Told by Kenya's video, this does seem like the most interesting. Like there's constantly crazy stuff happening. And I feel like it is probably one of her like first ones because like Slammed felt very dull and bland. But this one felt like extremely flavorful. But it also, they both aren't really doing anything. And I think she was just trying to find her footing in her own writing space. But I don't know. I guess it created some cool moments, but at what cost? Like the entire plot. I think I was like so hooked for like the first chapter. And the reason why is because you know, again, they had like that crazy thing with the twin sister, and I was like, okay, like there's a twist like already. Cause I was like, oh, it's gonna be a dream or something. Which books tend to do, which is like super annoying. But I was like, oh, very interesting. Cause they like I think they already introduced that she had a twin sister. So it was like you could predict it, and it's like, yes, like this is like where things should be going. And then chapter 2, I don't know, the boyfriend's weird and like kind of creeping around the protagonist. I was very uncomfortable. The protagonist was very uncomfortable, and I don't think anyone should have to deal with that. Reading, experiencing it, liking it, disliking it, like no one should really want to deal with that. I don't know. And I guess those are just my thoughts on like an intro to Colleen Hoover. I don't remember what page I stopped at. It might be a DNF, but it also might not. Oh, I took my bookmark out. I don't know. I think I was like 60 pages in. And it wasn't doing it for me. It wasn't doing anything. Again. Whatever. But that's all I really had for this video. I think, I don't know. If you want to give it a try, do it at your own risk. This is one of her like least rated books on Goodreads from what I've seen, which is very interesting. That how Slammed has more ridiculous. That was bland as hell. I can't even begin to describe it. It had like 4.2 stars. I'm like, I don't know who's reading this and who's enjoying, but it's certainly not me. So yeah, give it a try if you want. It's pretty interesting, but again, dull and lifeless. Which I mean, I'm sure a lot of people like reading just like, I don't know, for shock factor. I don't know. It's like cool to have those moments, but like, why does it not pertain to the story at all? I will give. So I was complaining about this in the Anne Frank book. I read The Road by Cormac McCarthy this year, and I absolutely hated it. I thought it was like ridiculous, but the shock factor moments were what kept me reading because it was like that was the reason like the story was like taking off. That's what like gave it energy. And then everything else was like literally god awful. But again, like these moments in this book just feel like they're just thrown in for the sake of it. They have a Jesus statue in their living room and they're like making jokes out of it. And I'm like, I don't know. It's like not even like, it doesn't make sense. Like I thought it was funny that their house was like a chapel or whatever, but it's like, I don't know. There's just no point to it. I guess it's supposed to be comedic, but it's like the writing's not too comedic. It's just like the shock factor and unpredictability. But yeah, that's all I have. Again, drinking some green tea. This is leftover from my other video. Super fun. And I hope you'll have a great day. Bye.